A co-parenting dynamic, it is not always easy to navigate, right? Especially for children. They will have a lot of questions, they'll be scared. Here to help us through some of the emotional and logistical challenges is parenting expert Vivian Meraki. Great to have you on today.
Thank you.
So what does it mean to be a good co-parent?
So a lot of people will think about being a co-parent as maybe I have to get it right, maybe we have to get along, but that's really not what it is about. It's actually more about the consistency and the reliability, the follow through and clear communication. So I often think of it, especially because emotions can really run high, but a lot of times it's almost like that coworker that you don't get along with, but you know you have to get stuff done. That's really what being a co-parent, a good co-parent is all about, is working collaboratively to get things done with your co-parent.
And some of the things that people are looking at on their screen right now, doing what you say you'll do and sticking to routines and schedules.
Exactly, yeah. Establishing that consistency for your kids so that they know what to expect, because predictability helps to remove confusion and helps.
And let's talk about fear, because kids are scared, right?
Yeah.
So you say that clear communication is one of the things it means to be a good co-parent.
Yeah, so what can really come up for children is, and we'll talk about it a little bit more and dive in a little bit more, but there's a few things that really come up for them that they're worried about. They're worried about who's going to take care of me, what's going to happen, what's going to change. And so a lot of that can be not just one big conversation, but these micro moments when you can reassure them as you go along through the change as a family.
So what can you do to help ease those fears?
So I would say it's really all about the communication with your children as well. So at the end of the day, divorce is loss and it's grief. So the best framework that I always recommend to my clients is called the 4 C's. So the 4 C's are cause, you didn't cause this, it's not your fault. Care, who's going to take care of me? We're going to take care of you. Cure, you can't fix it. This is an adult problem and we are going to work it out. And last one is catch, which a lot of families don't really think about. But when there's loss, sometimes there can be a lens that it feels like I'm expecting the shoe to drop and loss to happen in all areas of my life. So it's not contagious. It doesn't mean that everything is going to be a big loss. But of course, that one needs to be careful, because divorce can come with some really big changes that are not just the family dynamic, but families moving, changing schools, things like that. But I think that's really where communicating is the best way, and doing it earlier rather than later. So sometimes parents will pause and wait to communicate with their kids. I've heard of folks where, right up until when someone's moving out, and that's when the conversation happens because they're worried about the impact on their kids. But for the kids, it's just like all of us. When we have more notice, then we can adjust and give them a chance to ask the questions and process things.
What if your ex-partner is not on the same page?
I think that's really where it starts to get into the mediation process. So a lot of times families are going through divorce from a litigation perspective, which really pits people against each other. It's about winning and losing. But the problem with winning and losing is that for someone to win, someone has to lose. And children end up being, kind of like downstream of that. So when one parent is losing, it means the child is also losing something as well. So it's really about how you negotiate apart from the kids and sort out the disagreements as you go. And that's why mediation is often something that, if it's possible, that I suggest, because there is a reason you're getting a divorce. You're not getting along, and there's things that you don't see eye and eye on. But at the heart of it, it's really about finding the common ground, which is often the children. And what do you actually agree on? And then starting from there as a starting point. Yeah.
I mean, you work with so many families. What are some of the common conflicts that you see?
Yeah, so I'd say that the conflicts really depend on where you are in your divorce process. So earlier on, it tends to be the bigger things like property, division of assets, finances, custody. But then as you go along, it's going to be more logistics and the day-to-day things like holiday schedules, handoff, transition, who has what at whose house, things like that. And the conflicts that come up, if you're able to get to a level of detail in the mediation and agreement up front, then you remove the need for discussion down the road. And the less need for discussion, the less opportunity for conflict.
So what strategies do you recommend for couples to use?
Yeah, I would say that having a good mediator is a really good one, but also trying to approach things from a perspective of what is the desired outcome. Understand what your baseline is and what you won't compromise on, but understand what you will compromise on. And if both people are approaching it from a perspective of collaboration and curiosity and openness, to hear each other out, to find a common ground so that the children can thrive, that is far better. This is obviously not in situations of abuse, manipulation, high conflict. That's a very different strategy, and that's actually more parallel parenting than it is co-parenting.
All right, a conversation for perhaps
Yeah.
another day. Vivian, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.